Ciao Fabri and welcome back
Oh,
in our
guys.
podcast, as always in video here on Men in Blazers. Thanks to everyone that are watching us as well, then of course listening on our platforms. And today we focus on Real Madrid because it's a big week for Real Madrid. Of course, they have the second leg against Arsenal on Wednesday, but also there are some big news. And let's start with Luka Modric, latest news you just shared.
Yeah, it's an exclusive update, and we can enter into details because it's not directly Real Madrid news, but it's also important to clarify what happens between Luka Modric and Real Madrid, because from today, it will be official soon, everything has been agreed and completed from what I'm told, Luka Modric will become a new minority owner at Swansea Football Club. Yeah, I know it sounds surprising, I know many people didn't expect this one, but Luka Modric decided to make this step as part of his future projects, also out of the pitch. But let me clarify that this is something that makes, obviously, Modric really excited, convinced to make this step also for his future in terms of, obviously, investment, in terms of process for his next steps. But in terms of present, the intention of Luka Modric remains the one we mentioned a few weeks ago also here on our podcast. Luka Modric wants to play for Real Madrid again and again and again. So the intention of Modric in terms of professional career as a football player is not changing. He wants to be a Real Madrid player also next season. And so we will be following all the steps. But meanwhile, it's an important and I think fantastic update for Swansea fans to have a minority owner like Luka Modric.
Just in terms of contract, you already mentioned that Luka Modric future plans at Real Madrid stay the same. What's the situation between the player and the club at the moment?
Yeah, look, as always, Real Madrid in this kind of cases when players are not so young, obviously in the case of Luka Modric, it doesn't look the case because when you see him playing, he doesn't look 39 years old. But for Real Madrid, obviously, the strategy is always the same. When the players have this kind of age, they wait till close to the end of the season to meet with the player, to meet with the agent, make a decision, and then announce what they decide to do. So this is the case also for Modric. At the moment, there is nothing decided between Modric and Real Madrid, but not because there is a negative feeling, not at all. The feeling is very positive between the coaching staff, Luka Modric, the directors, obviously the president, Florentino Perez. So an excellent relationship. But before deciding what they will do together, they have to wait till the end of the season. On Modric's side, it's already decided. Modric wants to play for Real Madrid. Now, let's see what Real Madrid will decide together with Modric at the end of the season.
There is also other players that are running out of the contract. One of them is Lucas Vázquez. So also what's the situation about him?
Yeah, it's a similar situation because also in this case, between Real Madrid and Lucas Vázquez, from what I'm told, as of now, there is nothing decided, nothing agreed. So the situation is quite open. I think there is a possibility for Lucas Vázquez maybe to leave Real Madrid in the summer transfer window. We don't mention that today on our Real Madrid podcast because we already mentioned several times in our podcast. But remember that Trent Alexander-Arnold is fully expected to arrive at Real Madrid in the summer. We wait for the formal steps, and it means one more right back. Dani Carvajal is going to return. So for Lucas Vázquez, the situation could be open. At the moment, there is no agreement. There is also no communication of anything finished between Lucas and Real Madrid. So let's keep all the options open. But as of today, we have to speak about the real situation. And the situation is that there is still nothing decided. And so there is a chance for Lucas Vázquez to leave as a free agent.
Raúl Asencio was probably one of the best surprises of the season at Real Madrid. What's the plan of the club for the player to extend the contract? So what's next for him at Real Madrid?
Yeah, just in March, Real Madrid activated an option into his old contract he had with the academy. So basically what Real Madrid did is to activate the option and to confirm the same contract, the same salary for Raúl Asencio. So basically, he's on almost the same terms as before, but with a longer contract and without the risk clause of 50 million euros. So Real Madrid wanted to protect themselves also with a player. But what I'm told is that in the summer, the expectation is for Raúl Asencio to sign a new deal at Real Madrid. So a completely new structure of contract, salary, and all the rest. There is already discussion ongoing. It will enter into crucial stages after the end of the season. Now there is no rush, also because I can guarantee that Raúl Asencio, despite being approached by several clubs around Europe, ready to offer an important salary, an important project, Raúl Asencio only wants to win and play for Real Madrid. So the mission for the player is very clear, continue at Real Madrid.
Let's now talk about Vinicius Jr., who is probably one of the biggest topics at Real Madrid right now, and also maybe for the summer as well. So what's his situation with the contract, and what about all these rumors that are coming up?
Yeah, we have many stories, but what I'm hearing on Vinicius Jr. in the recent days, we heard that his contract extension at Real Madrid was close to be completed. What I'm told is that it's still in discussion, and it's not a negative update, let me clarify that at all. But it's a conversation ongoing. So they already had more than 3 meetings, the agents of Vinicius Jr. and Real Madrid, since the start of February when they started discussing this new deal. Vini in public has been very clear several times, and we have to respect that. Vini always say that he wants to win and continue and make history at Real Madrid. So the conversation is ongoing. It's obviously about the length of the contract, the numbers, the release clause. There are several things to discuss. So the conversations are ongoing. What I'm hearing is that we are not at the stage of signing the contract this week, for example. So it's going to take some time. The conversation is ongoing. We also know about Saudi. That's not a surprise. From Saudi, in case they feel Vini could open the doors to a potential move, they are prepared to offer completely crazy money. When you see reports of 1 billion euros in 5 years for Vinicius, from what I'm hearing, is not that far from reality. So they are prepared to spend crazy money on Vinicius, but at the same time, Vinicius is giving total priority to Real Madrid. He's only speaking with Real Madrid at this point of the negotiation. And so let's follow these deal negotiations between Vini and Real Madrid.
Let's move from strikers, probably one of the biggest strikers around the world, to defenders as well for Real Madrid. We can maybe expect something this summer. What about Eder Militao? So let's start with a player that is already at Real Madrid.
Yeah, the plan of Real Madrid, and I wanted to clarify that for Eder Militao, is to trust him for next season. So probably he will not be fit in time for the club's World Cup. He's recovering well. The plan is going very well, but Real Madrid will not take any risks. So let's follow the situation closely in the next weeks and months. But again, Real Madrid really trusts the player for next season. So when we mention centre backs, we should remind there is Rudiger, there is David Alaba, there is Raúl Asencio, who is doing very well, and we have to count also Eder Militao because he will be part of Real Madrid's squad for the next season. The club is very happy also with the attitude of the player in a difficult moment after the injury, fighting to be back as soon as possible and in the best conditions possible. So my understanding is that Eder Militao will absolutely be part of the plan next season. Now, obviously, waiting to return in the best conditions, but the plan is very clear in player and club's mind.
Many questions on Huijsen that I have the feeling, I don't know if you have the same, that is a player we will talk a lot over the next weeks and also next month in the summer.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a super long saga. I think we're going to talk a lot about him in the next probably 1-2 months because there is a release clause, as we already said, that was an exclusive update in January, £50 million. So basically, clubs don't need to negotiate with Bournemouth. Maybe you can sit down with Bournemouth, maybe to negotiate the structure of the deal, maybe the payment terms and all these sort of things when there is a release clause, but the value is already clear. And this is a big help in terms of timing for all the clubs interested. What's the situation about Real Madrid? We keep receiving many questions, but what I can say is that for sure, Dean Huijsen will be super excited about joining Real Madrid. Obviously, as a Spanish national team player now, imagine how he would love to make this move. But at the same time, the point at this stage, beginning of April, is that Real Madrid have still not decided whether they want to sign a centre-back in the summer or maybe invest on different positions and sign a centre-back in 2026. This is the decision to make at Real Madrid. So at the moment, there is still no direct feedback from Real Madrid on investing on Dean Huijsen or maybe paying the release clause. This is why for Huijsen, Premier League clubs are coming. Premier League clubs have been very aggressive in the sense of making contact already in January, in February. There are clubs like Liverpool for sure, but also Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle are calling on weekly basis. Also Bayern from Germany have been interesting for months. So many clubs are trying to enter this race. And my feeling is that something could happen quite early in the market. I don't think this is going to be a case for the final weeks of August. So a lot of movement for one of the most talented defenders in the world. I think he's turning 20 today, so happy birthday.
Speaking of defenders, one other there is a lot of rumors about it's Saliba. So what's the situation? Is a target for Real Madrid?
In this moment, I think target is quite too much because we heard this story a lot in the recent months, and I think it's absolutely obvious to know that Real Madrid like a player like William Saliba. He's one of the best centre-backs, if not the best in the world. So it's absolutely normal to appreciate a player like him. But at this stage, there is no negotiation, there is no direct contact, there is an appreciation from Real Madrid. I already said that, but let me repeat what I know. Real Madrid, some people internally Real Madrid consider William Saliba as the Jude Bellingham of the defenders. So they see Saliba as a generational talent. At the same time, there is Arsenal, and we have to respect Arsenal. First of all, because Arsenal are prepared to start negotiations with Saliba over a new deal. Second, because the contract is till 2027, so it's not a urgent situation, it's not a big issue. They have time to negotiate and to discuss. And third, but crucial point, William Saliba just a couple of weeks ago in a press conference said very clear with his own face, in a very clear message to all the press, I want to continue at Arsenal. I want to win trophies at Arsenal. So also the player is expressing his desire to continue at the club. So at the moment, there is no conversation, and I don't think Saliba will be a topic for this transfer window. I think it would be really, really difficult. Then, if in 1 year Saliba is not extending the contract at Arsenal and Real Madrid feel there is an opportunity, we will see because they like the player. But in this moment, there is priority for Arsenal talks and no conversations between Real Madrid and Arsenal for Saliba.
But let's now talk about what's probably the biggest topic at Real Madrid of the next weeks, probably also after the second leg of the Champions League game against Arsenal, the future of Carlo Ancelotti. So what's going to be the future of Carlo Ancelotti? What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, look, about Carlo Ancelotti is what we've been saying for weeks, that Real Madrid keep confirming their confidence in Carlo Ancelotti. Obviously, this game against Arsenal is going to be really important, as the first leg was really poor. So it's clear that they want to see a reaction, they want to go through, and so to keep this dream alive for the Champions League. At the same time, my understanding is that for Real Madrid, the idea remains very clear. There is still a chance to change the manager at the end of the season. That's a concrete possibility. I would say that till 1 week ago was a 50-50 situation. Now I think this could really change quickly after the Arsenal game. After that game, we will understand the feeling, the sentiment around Carlo Ancelotti, because obviously if you don't win the Champions League, let's see what happens with La Liga. In this moment, Barcelona are in control, but it's still open. There's still the Clásico. Then there is the Copa del Rey final. I think with no titles, obviously, for Carlo Ancelotti, it would mean probably to part ways at the end of the season.
And talking about what's next in case of the farewell of Carlo Ancelotti at Real Madrid, what's the situation with Xabi Alonso, who should be one of the strongest candidates to replace Ancelotti?
Yeah, I remain on my position on Xabi Alonso. I'm 100% sure that for Florentino Perez, and this is not just Real Madrid as a management, directors, and all the people at the club, but the president himself is completely in love with Xabi Alonso. It's about the coach, it's about the idea, it's about the style, it's about the Real Madrid legacy of Xabi Alonso, Spanish manager. So there are several factors, but Florentino is in love with Xabi Alonso. Real Madrid see Xabi Alonso as option number 1, 2, 3, but also probably 4 and 5 as their next coach. Let's see if it's going to be this summer or next summer based on what Ancelotti will be able to do. And again, let's give Ancelotti his chance to show his fantastic skills as a coach once again. But at the same time, the appreciation of Real Madrid for Xabi Alonso is very clear. And if Xabi Alonso didn't go to Bayern or any English club 1 year ago in March when he decided to continue at Bayer Leverkusen, is because he knows that Real Madrid want him. And he wants to be a Real Madrid coach one day. So let's see when. When is obviously the crucial topic. We will be on it in the next weeks. But for sure, Xabi Alonso also knows about this Real Madrid interest. And Xabi Alonso has this dream one day of returning to Real Madrid. So that's very clear. Then the timing, we will see, I think, very soon.
I have the feeling we will be back talking about these topics very soon. Thank you for today. You can follow us in all the Men in Blazers channel, the podcast, YouTube channel as well, and talk to you soon. Ciao, Fabri.
Thank you. Thank you. Ciao, guys.